Why your greatest revenge is silence, success, and letting God handle the rest. Good evening, beautiful souls. I'm LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. Tonight, I want to share something with you that fundamentally challenged everything I thought I knew about healing, about justice, about what it truly means to rise above the unthinkable. I had the profound honor of sitting down with LaStartra Favors, a woman whose story is nothing short of miraculous. LaStartra, affectionately known as Star, is the founder of Be In Boldness, a family led ministry and movement that's transforming lives across YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. She's a survivor, a mother, a leader, and a living testament to the power of rising silently, shining brightly, and letting divine justice handle the rest. Her impact on making the world a better place is undeniable. She's breaking the silence around childhood trauma, empowering survivors to reclaim their voices, and building generational wealth and purpose through faith driven boldness. She's creating a legacy that will outlive her lifetime, touching souls she'll never meet, healing wounds she didn't create. And what La Starta shared with me, it stopped me cold. It made me question everything our culture has taught us about healing, revenge, and what true empowerment actually looks like. Here's the insight that shook me to my core. Even in the midst of profound childhood trauma, like surviving molestation by family members and community members while appearing as part of a so called perfect family from the outside, true empowerment doesn't come from revenge or bitterness. It comes from rising silently, shining brightly through faith driven purpose, and letting divine justice handle the rest. Now, let that settle for a moment. We live in a culture that tells us healing requires confrontation, that we must publicly shame those who hurt us, that we need to scream our pain from the rooftops to be free, that justice only counts if we deliver it ourselves. That closure only comes when we force accountability from those who violated us. But La Startra reveals something deeper, something that challenges that entire narrative, something that turns our understanding of power completely upside down. She showed me that numbness from repeated abuse can distort love and self worth, leading to poor relationships and broken patterns. That when monsters live in your house, not just in dark alleys, you start to believe abuse is love. You start to accept violence as affection. You start to normalize what should horrify you. Yet forgiveness, without forced proximity, fueled her launch of Be In Boldness, a movement that motivates survivors to break silence online and reclaim their power. This is not the story we're used to hearing. And that's exactly why it matters. Because here's what nobody tells you. Here's what they don't put in the self help books or the therapy sessions or the empowerment conferences. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Sometimes the most devastating revenge is your peace. Sometimes the greatest justice is watching God work while you focus on your glow. Let me take you deeper into what LaStartra taught me because her journey offers three profound insights that every Black professional, leader, and entrepreneur needs to hear. Three truths that will change how you navigate pain, build legacy, and redefine power. First, shine without spite. When you've been wronged, especially by those closest to you, the temptation to retaliate is real. The desire to hurt them back, to make them feel what you felt, to expose them, to ruin them, it's human. It's natural. It's what every fiber of your being screams for. But Lestartra showed me something revolutionary. She said, don't stoop to meanness. Let your success and your glow hurt them more while God handles justice. Think about that for a moment. Really sit with it. Your success becomes your revenge. Your peace becomes your power. Your glow becomes the thing that haunts those who tried to dim you. Your joy becomes the evidence that they didn't break you. Your wholeness becomes the testimony that they didn't win. This isn't about being passive. This is about being strategic. This is about understanding that when you respond to darkness with more darkness, you give your power away. You become what hurts you. You let them control your narrative, your energy, your trajectory. But when you shine, when you succeed, when you build empires from the ashes they left you in, that's when they realize they didn't destroy you, they just gave you fuel. This builds unbreakable resilience for the business battles ahead. Because if you can rise above the pain inflicted by family, by those who were supposed to protect you, by those who shared your blood in your home, you can rise above anything the boardroom throws at you, any rejection, any betrayal, any obstacle. Second, beta, a family as empire, LaStartra didn't just heal alone. She leveraged her children's strengths. Her son became the CFO of Be In Boldness. Her daughter became the COO. Together, they scaled a purpose driven movement from pain, creating generational wealth and impact in ministry and motivation. This is what it looks like to turn trauma into legacy. This is what it looks like to build an empire that heals while it grows. This is what it looks like to take the worst thing that ever happened to you and transform it into the best thing you ever created. She didn't just survive for herself, she survived for them. She built for them. She created a blueprint for them. She showed them that pain doesn't have to be a prison, it can be a platform. Trauma doesn't have to be a tombstone, it can be a testimony. Silence doesn't have to be shame, it can be strategy. And now her children aren't just inheriting wealth, they're inheriting purpose, they're inheriting mission, they're inheriting the knowledge that their mother took hell and built heaven from it. And third, break the silence norm. Trauma from monsters in the house, not just strangers, numbs you into accepting abuse as love. LaStartra named this truth publicly via digital platforms, and in doing so, she saved lives and launched a movement for scared survivors. She broke the silence that keeps so many of us trapped, the silence that protects perpetrators, the silence that isolates victims, the silence that makes us believe we're alone, that it's our fault, that no one will believe us, that speaking up will destroy families. But here's what LaStartra understood: silence destroys families too. Silence kills souls. Silence perpetuates cycles. Silence gives power to the very people who should have none. So she spoke boldly, unapologetically, with faith as her foundation. And she didn't just free herself, she freed thousands of others who were waiting for permission to do the same. Now, I want you to understand something. Last Startra's story is not an isolated one. It's part of a larger pattern of Black women in Atlanta and beyond who are turning personal pain into purpose driven businesses. Let me share three stories that mirror this journey because when we see the pattern, we understand the power. Let me tell you about Pinky Cole. Pinky Cole, an Atlanta native, launched Slutty Vegan in 2018. Now, that name alone tells you something about her, doesn't it? It tells you she wasn't interested in playing small. She wasn't interested in making people comfortable. She was interested in disrupting an entire industry. She started with no traditional funding, cooking from a shared kitchen amid skepticism about veganism in soul food loving communities. People told her it wouldn't work, that Black folks don't do vegan, that you can't celebrate culture without meat, that she was crazy. She scaled during the pandemic via Instagram DM orders. While the world shut down, she opened up. She built viral branding, reframing vegan as bold and fun. She gave back through community giveaways, feeding college students, embodying unapologetic Black empowerment messaging. Today, Slutty Vegan is valued at $100 million. dollars. She's expanded to multiple Atlanta locations and launched a venture fund for minority businesses. Pinky didn't just build a restaurant, she redefined veganism for Black communities. She proved that community focused branding builds empires and ladders for others. Her story directly mirrors LaStartra's Atlanta roots in turning pain, that outsider stigma, into bold, family centered, community driven ministry. She took rejection and turned it into revolution. Then there's Dominique Worship. Dominique built exceptional alignment to help professionals scale businesses without burnout by aligning with purpose. But before that, she was drowning. Career dissatisfaction blocked her values of connection, and service, and impact. She was successful on paper, but dying on the inside. Sound familiar? Post transition, others sought her help amid their own scaling struggles. She used mentorship to clarify core values, then coached on delegation and purpose driven decisions, creating the exceptional alignment framework. She empowered leaders to build fulfilling enterprises, shifting from corporate to high impact coaching. Her signature coaching method has been adopted by leaders across industries. She built a business that embodies her values. Dominique inspires Black professionals to avoid burnout, fostering purpose aligned entrepreneurship in Atlanta's ecosystem. Her story echoes LaStartra's faith led rise from trauma numbness to motivating survivors via Be In Boldness. Purpose from pain. That's the core match. That's the thread that connects all these women. And finally, Lakeisha Hallman. Lakeisha expanded the village into a Ponce City market retail space curating Black owned products. Early startup programming faced visibility hurdles in Atlanta's competitive scene. She needed physical space to scale her support as a verb mission. She rotated Black brands every 4 months in a marketplace for apparel, food, and art, leveraging events for community connection. Her first retail location boosted local creatives and solidified as a hub for Black economic growth. She secured a permanent Ponce City market spot with ongoing brand rotations. Lakeisha drives economic circulation in Black Atlanta communities, extending ladders like LaStartra's online ministry. Her story parallels LaStartra's family movement, letting Black survivors shine via platforms fostering boldness in Atlanta's Black business scene. Do you see it? Do you see the pattern? These women didn't let their pain define them, they let it refine them. They turned survival into something sacred, they turned trauma into testimony, they turned numbness into boldness, they turned rejection into revolution, they turned silence into strategy. And here's what I need you to understand: this isn't just about them. This is about you. How many of us are still numb to the monsters in the house? How many of us are still carrying trauma we've never named, pain we've never processed, wounds we've never allowed to heal? How many of us are still accepting abuse as love because that's what we learned in childhood? How many of us are still dimming our light because we're afraid of what shining might cost us? LaStarter taught me that breaking the silence is not just an act of courage, it's an act of liberation. It's an act of revolution. It's an act of love for yourself and for the next Black woman who needs to know she's not alone. And here's the part that gets me every single time: LaStartra didn't just survive, she thrived. She didn't just heal, she built. She didn't just forgive, she flourished. And she did it all while letting God handle the justice, while shining so brightly that her glow became her greatest weapon, while building a family empire that will outlast her lifetime. This is what it means to enter your soft girl era. It's not about being weak, it's not about being passive, it's not about letting people walk all over you. It's about being so secure in your healing, so grounded in your faith, so clear in your purpose that you no longer need revenge. You no longer need validation. You no longer need permission. You just shine. And when you shine, you give others permission to do the same. When you break the silence, you create space for others to speak. When you build your empire, you extend the ladder for others to climb. So here's what I need from you right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Right now. I need you to ask yourself, what monster in the house trauma are you still numb to? What pain have you normalized? What abuse have you rebranded as love? What silence are you still protecting? And then I need you to make a decision, a real decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. How will you start shining through it today? Will you launch that bold ministry? Will you start that business? Will you have that conversation? Will you set that boundary? Will you say that no? Will you choose that peace? How will you let God handle the rest and inspire the next Black leader? Because here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you, but I will. Your pain has purpose, your trauma has testimony, your survival has story, and the world is not just waiting for you to shine. The world needs you to shine. There are women right now in this moment, sitting in the same darkness you once sat in, waiting for someone who looks like them, sounds like them, survived like them, to show them it's possible. You are that someone. LaStartra Favors showed me that. Pinky Cole showed me that. Dominique Worship showed me that. Lakeisha Hallman showed me that. And tonight I'm showing you, you don't have to carry the cape anymore. You don't have to be strong all the time. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to be soft enough to heal, bold enough to speak, and faithful enough to trust that God will handle the rest. That's your soft girl era. That's your revolution. That's your legacy. So here's my challenge to you. Take one step today, just one. Share your story anonymously online. Support a survivor led movement like Be In Boldness. Reach out to someone who's been where you are. Set one boundary, say one no. Choose one moment of peace. Do something, anything that moves you from silence to boldness, from survival to softness, from pain to purpose. Because when you do, you don't just change your life, you change the trajectory of every woman who comes after you. You break cycles, you build empires, you create legacies. And that is the greatest revenge of all. Not bitterness, not spite, not meanness, but success, peace, purpose, and letting God handle the rest while you shine so bright they can't look away. That's your power. That's your truth. That's your moment. Now go claim it.